Sharon,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
No, good stuff. So, firstly, congratulations. It's you guys have been a band now for almost 30 years, and you're finally making it down to Australia. Um,
Yeah.
I've been a fan of the band for 20 years, so the fact that this is
Oh,
also
wow.
finally happening, super excited for it. What's the anticipation level been like within the band to finally make it down here?
Well, everybody's really looking forward to it because it has, you can't believe it maybe because we never came, but it has been on our wish list for a long time. It's just been very difficult to get it into our schedule with because it's so far away from us. You need to find the right promoter and also the best way to come down under is to combine it with other countries, which we're not doing by the way at this point. It's really because we really want to come and it's been way overdue that we are supposed to be coming. So yeah.
For sure, and like I said, as a long-time fan, well overdue. I'm so excited for these shows. When you guys have been, I guess, putting together like the set list of what you're looking at potentially playing, how does it feel going eight albums into a catalog and looking at all this music you've done and picking out, hey, how do we fit a 40-minute set?
Yeah, it's gonna be very difficult because it's so short. It's
And
way too short, but yeah.
you guys aren't really known sometimes for short songs either.
No, 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 no. So we probably will try to do the more shorter songs so we can fit in more and more diversity, hopefully. It's going to be very difficult to be honest because we want to give of course a lot of people are waiting for maybe a particular song to hear finally live again, for the first time and then to only play so short is does feel like how do you say it? Like teasing them a bit. Then you're like, yoo-hoo, here we are. And then we only play this short. So that's yeah. So, but we are doing two of our own shows. And hopefully if people are really eager to see a real show, then yeah, then that's a good option for them. But I must say that the venues are very small. So to what we normally do, so there are not that many tickets either. So yeah.
No, the Princess, which is actually I'm probably going to be at that show because like again, longtime fan. That venue is amazing. Like even though it is kind of small, it is nice and intimate. So I feel like I've seen Hailstorm there. I've seen heaps of
Oh,
different
wow.
bands there, and like even though it is smaller, there's much more of an intimate vibe to it. So I'm really excited
Yeah,
to
that's going to
get
be
a Within
cool.
yeah, I'm excited to get a
Yeah.
Within Temptation show in such a small venue. Now, obviously, you guys like I said, you've got a long storied career. You guys started out a bit more with a different sound in the earlier records with Enter and Mother Earth. How did you initially kind of land on the sound that you had with kind of that gothic and leaning into Celtic kind of a bit of metal? Like it wasn't quite what it was now.
Well, now it changed again, of course, with it. There's not that much Celtic stuff going on anymore. No, it's like you go through stages, and I think as a band, how we started, we were very much inspired by bands like Marillion and yeah, Planet, but also Robert coming from a really death metal background, combining the vocals from death metal and then also with all these melodies because people were at a certain point fed up with death metal because it was the heaviest bands were around and nothing could be heavier than that. And then they were longing for something new. And I think the combination that what eventually became our music in the beginning was really this doom kind of music, but then with melody, and a lot of grunting and stuff like that. That's how they started. And um, eventually you see that when we started, we were kids, we're just like 18, 19. And there was even a band before with Invitation called The Circle, also doing the same kind of stuff. And, we grew with every album from that point on. And now it's 30 years later, almost. And yeah, you grow we are also been a band that always likes new stuff to try out and gets inspired by new blood. You see new kids starting a band and they do something with it. Their sounds like, oh my God, that's so cool. But you are who you are, so you integrate it more or less and you try out things every time with your own sound. And you're like a chameleon changing from one point to different colors. But you're still the same chameleon, but it is with different colors every time.
For sure. And then obviously, like, speaking, I guess, of the changes that you guys made when Silent Force came out, obviously that's the album that probably gave you the most distinct sound throughout your career. I consider The Silent Forces one of the most important albums just in symphonic metal, period. Like, that album is incredible. When it kind of came to like realizing, oh, there's something in this, like, how did you guys kind of like know, like, did you guys know at the time that was going to be the album that would define the band?
Well, well, you never know up front, of course, but it was like Mother Earth was like leading already up to that because we broke through Europe with Mother Earth, and then we felt like, okay, there's a lot of stuff going on, influences politics. We were always very much inspired by politics, actually, although we didn't present it as much because we had this really storytelling kind of music, epic kind of feeling to it, and then to talk about something so very in the moment kind of thing, like politics didn't fit with the image that people had from us. And nowadays we've changed and transformed again to different kind of into a different kind of band, I think, more or less, although you're still what you are, of course. But I think that also changed the sound, and I think we never realized that Silent Force was going to be that album. You never know up front, like I said, but it's always when you look back on it, then you realize, okay, that was an important album.
Yeah, for sure. Now, obviously, I said before, I've been a fan of the band for about 20 years. So my first experience of coming into you guys was The Heart of Everything. And the song you guys did with Keith Caputo, the What Have You Done, like that still sits in my rotation of consistently listened songs. I guess kind of walking into that album, knowing that you'd kind of captured lightning in a bottle with Silent Force, taking the best elements of that record and then expanding on them with Heart of Everything, like, was that kind of something that you went to when you approached writing that record of like, oh, we've got something special here, let's try and make it better?
No, not really. It's really what we loved making. It's really like we really like what we're doing. We really like the orchestras and that symphonic sound. But with the album, when we finished that album, we really did think like we don't know where to go from this point. We of course, I think when you've done the Silent Force, you are in a certain pattern of how you write songs and the type of songs that you write. But we did feel like the album, The Heart of Everything, was more organic. Like when we wrote the Silent Force, Linkin Park came up with they had with all these new sounds and loops and stuff, and we put that also into the Silent Force, and I think we threw that out with The Heart of Everything, wanted to be more organic in a way again. So it was small changes, but still doing the music we love doing. But from that moment on, The Heart of Everything was the final album that we felt like, okay, we can't do another album like this again because we finalized this sound. We don't know where to go from this without getting really boring to ourselves, but maybe also to fans, but especially to ourselves. So that's why the album after that, The Unforgiving, was totally different.
For sure. And that's the one I was about to bring up next, because that is my favorite album in your entire discography.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Start, start to finish, that album is incredible. I'm a big like Coheed and Cambria fan. I love concept records, comic books, like transmedia and all that kind of stuff. You guys did short movies for this, and you guys did comic books as well. When it came to kind of putting that album together, like, was that the original idea of like, we can't kind of keep doing what we're doing, so the idea for a concept album was born from that?
No, we were, the strange thing is that when you think you've had, you don't know where to go, you're at the 0 point, like, oh my God, what are we going to do next? And there's all these expectations, also from ourselves, but also from our fans. And that we felt then things come towards you somehow. Strangely, the universe works like that. Like, oh my God, we're at wit's end. What are we going to do next? And then a company that makes video games said, like, we were developing a video game and we would like you to write the music for it. So that came on our path, and we're like, oh my God, this is actually, it was called Spellborn. Didn't work out eventually, but for them anyway. For us, it did really well because it gave us a lot of inspiration. They gave us a whole script about what the video, the game was about, and it was really, really big. It was like this big, and the whole storyline and everything. It was like, okay, we don't have to think about what the album should be. We can do a concept album. Eventually, the video game didn't work out, but it did turn into us writing for The Unforgiving to do our own comic book and our own videos. So those kind of things, they help you on the way to get to new ideas again. So eventually things will come on your path, even when you think like, I don't know where to go from this point. We're doomed.
And then that album too, like I guess with songs like I think it was Sinead and Shot in the Dark, you started to kind of experiment a bit more with pop sounds. So that's obviously now factored in much later in stuff like Resist and the new record, which I'm blanking on right now, Bleed Out. There it is.
Yeah.
What was the initial idea to kind of incorporate some of the pop sounds? Like where did they come
Well,
from?
it was more like like looking back on bands that inspired us. And so we have this several bands that, we also have a song called Lost, which was really this kind of Metallica kind of vibe. And we have, of course, Iron, which is more of a Iron Maiden kind of song, the rhythm and everything. Not that it is a Iron Maiden song, but it is heavily inspired by bands that we loved. So it was more like honoring the bands that we loved and putting that in. And then, of course, we are 80s kids, so we felt like, and the song like Sinead is something that we grew up with as well. More like, I can't remember exactly what the inspiration for that was, but it was something that we felt like, bringing back all those elements from the past, from our youth, into that album. So that's where that came from.
For sure. Iron is by far my favorite song in the entire discography.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the fact that you're kind of telling me that, like the fact that it's an Iron Maiden sort of like inspired song. I'm a massive Iron Maiden fan too. So like the moment you said that, I'm like, oh, I hear it. Like I can hear the riff, the
Now
opening
I
riff
know
at the
why I
start of my
like that
head.
album.
Yeah, well, I mean, that album is just, again, I'm a massive geek and I'm a concept nerd, a concept album nerd, and like I just love all that stuff. So that album really spoke to me at a time too, where again I was getting super deep into Dream Theater and a
Oh,
lot
wow.
deeper into Coheed and Opeth and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But no, yeah, no, that's really cool to know. Now, something you did before Hydra was the Q Music sessions.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was a bunch of covers you guys did. There was Don't You Worry Child, Skyfall, Titanium, which is my favorite one of that as well, and Radioactive. Are there talks to ever like incorporate covers into the sets? Like, how do you guys go about approaching covers?
Well, we do like covers, but I must say that the Q Music sessions was why we chose these songs were mostly because of the fact we were doing this with Q Music, which is a radio station in the Netherlands and in Belgium, and we were only allowed to have a range of a pick that we could choose the songs from, and we were trying to make in our own way at that time while we were writing a new album, Hydra album. To do these covers, but we wanted to make them a little bit more heavy than the original in a way, but still, the song is what it is, of course, so it's also sometimes difficult to get the very poppy element out of it. And we did play some of those songs on our 15th anniversary. So at certain occasions when you have a very long set list, you'll integrate a cover, or maybe there's a reason for us to do it, maybe because somebody asked, because they want to ask somebody to marry them or something. It's like, okay, you know what? This time we'll play that song for once, but we have so many of our own songs, and we won't be playing covers in Australia because we have such a short time and so few shows to do. So we won't
For
be playing
sure.
any covers for sure. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was fun doing that. You learn also a lot from playing covers and discovering how songs are actually, how things work within a song, and different kind of music scene as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, before we wrap up, obviously you've kind of touched on it earlier, but you guys are going to be doing two headline shows in Brisbane and in Melbourne. That news currently hasn't dropped yet, so I think that comes out tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yes, exactly.
Yeah, so I'm really excited for that because, again, never thought in a million years you guys would come out here, and the fact that I'm going to get to see you guys twice in 24 hours is insane.
Yay.
So very excited you guys are going to be coming out. Just to kind of give a wrap up of those full dates, Knotfest Australia, Melbourne, Brisbane, Sydney, 28th of Feb, 2nd of March, 8th of March respectively. The debut headline shows in Australia will be March 3rd at the Princess Theatre in Brisbane, March 6th at Max Watts in Melbourne. I so appreciate you taking the time out to chat. I'm very excited for you guys to be here, and we'll see you in 5 weeks.
Can't wait. I really, really am looking forward to it. Like I've been to Australia, like I said, maybe earlier. That's yeah. I'm looking forward to come back again and see it with new eyes and see what kind of memories come back to me. Well, yeah, I can't wait. You have a beautiful country and so diverse as well. And I only have 2 weeks, but looking forward to the shows and meeting you all. So
Yeah, and the advantage too is you guys are coming at the end of summer, so it should be getting like a little bit cooler by the time you get here, as opposed to right now,
okay,
which is crazy hot. So
okay, okay. We took the perfect moment then.
that's it. Amazing. Well, thanks so much for taking the time out. Like I said, again, massive fan. Can't wait for you to come.
Thank you very much. Until then, see you later.